So, I think we can have a chat here. Remember we discussed the what you want to offer to some of your big guys with regards to buying and bringing it up to the books and show
Yes.
appreciation. I want you to explain it to what's it? Mauricio and Rodrigo, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
because that's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
It's a no-brainer for any company, especially if they're public companies.
Great, yeah.
Because it's a no-brainer. Everybody that understands it immediately buys.
Yeah. 100%.
It actually helps them more than it helps you guys.
That's what I said to him. It's value to your company because he needs to show you shareholders that they're adding value. Yeah.
Give me one second. Hey, pudiste. Busca en no deseados. Le creas un correo de Gmail. No, pero crearle una. O sea, no, sí sirve, pero crearle una de Gmail, no tengo idea, crearle cualquiera de Gmail. Si solo lo va a tener que usar una vez. Bueno, me avisas. It's a no-brainer. No-brainer.
Yeah.
You're buying a share today that's $50 or even $100. And you're multiplying your assets by 10 times.
By 10 times, yeah. If you buy
So you put $1 million,
yeah.
you put 10 million in your.
So if he buys now at 50 times, 20 times.
You put $1 million, you get 20 million in your books legally of shares of a legit company that you bought that are worth it.
Correct.
And that IC number that I told you about.
Yeah.
That's huge. It costs around $250,000 to get it.
Right.
Takes around 6 months.
Okay.
But JP, can you hear me?
Yes. I'm listening.
So there's a company that gets any company in the world, set it up the right way, and gets them to be listed in Bloomberg in the Frankfurt Exchange worldwide. And the key is that they give you an IC number. That IC number is what every company in the world asks you if they're the big boys. For example, hedge funds, governments, all those companies can't invest in private companies because it's a big risk for them. Something goes wrong, or they say, "Oh, you're buying your company, then it's your friend's company. It's not a public company." That IC number makes you really, let's say, a public listed company in the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. That IC number, all the big boys, if you tell them, "Hey, I have an IC number, I'm listed in the Frankfurt Stock Exchange," they immediately say, "Holy shit, you know what? We're the retirement fund of the teachers in Canada, and we need to put into the market this year $1 billion." And the numbers aren't like that. Those guys, just to give an example, and they said
they don't play around, yes. So.
And they go and said, "As long as you're listed, I can do it because my board says anything that's listed, buy, because supposedly it's more regulated than anything else." So I'll put a meeting if you guys want with those guys. They charge that between 200 and 250, takes 6 months, but it's worth it because it opens you a whole new scoop of people.
Yeah, well, definitely. You know what? In 6 months from now, we'll possibly be sitting at the $800, well, maybe let's say about the $700 mark, and it's gonna start getting complicated to getting the normal investors in the market, and put it like that. But there's a possibility that it's not. We'll see. So yeah, 6 months from now, if we get an IC number, it just makes our company more legit as well. And we are planning to take the company public as well once we have sold out the shares in any case.
Yeah, I think, and you're right. And you're right. Right now, it's an easy sell. Shares are $50. People are not going to make 20 times their money, all of that. But at 700, people are going to be, holy shit, I don't know. But getting one of those big boys, those guys, they don't, for 10%.
They don't care about,
Oh,
yeah, they don't
and
care
it's
about,
900.
interest for the next 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, but they buy volume. Yes. Scale the economy, yeah.
Just give me 1 second. All right. The first person is joining, Mauricio Reis.
Yeah. Ah, beautiful. Thank you. Sugar. Perfect. You want it. Is this normal sugar or is this sweet?
It's just Splenda. It's like an alternative of sugar for diabetics and people with problems
Okay.
with depression.
You don't have normal sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can have it.
Yeah. So that problem.
It's sweet. Okay, guys, so we're opening in 5 minutes, huh? JB?
Lo que no lo escucho.
Got it. 5 minutes.
Ah, ¿te alcanzó con mi tarjeta? Acaba de ver que no tenía plata. Sí, te alcanzó. No, sí.
Okay, JB, so you can start recording. We're gonna make our way to the front of the ribbon and we're gonna say a few words there, cut the ribbon and are they ready then? With the ribbon?
Let me check. Ay, cogete el iPad y nos grabas, porque va a grabar en vivo, mientras caminamos a que ellos canten. Let's go. I'm pretty sure it's done. Pues sí, además que también graba aparte para que tengamos un...
Dit is maar nog heeltemal afgetrek. Did you like me footing the pattern? That's it. Dat beteken ek nie die presentation hier gedoen nie, hy het hom gedoen op sy PC. That's what that beteken. Okay, 7 months ago. Damn it, Paul. There's a reason why I tell you to do things. Huh?
We will start.
We can start. Can I admit the people? So far it's Mauricio and Rodriguez. Rodrigue.
Y en 5 minutos.
So he's gonna be filming.
Grabo el Zoom. Your friend is not recording.
Hi.
¿Va a grabar él?
Are you recording? You want him to record?
Maybe are you recording, right?
Yes. I've been recording since the Zoom
Ah,
is
es que se conecta
open.
la tele, creo.
Ah, it's attached to TV.
Wait a minute.
No, lo llamo.
Oh, yeah.
JB, can you
But
hear now?
I'm looking in. Yes, but I'm looking into a wall.
Yeah, we're gonna turn the
Yes.
screen up. Turn the screen.
Dale vuelta a la pantalla.
No, it's fine.
Oh,
Okay, you're gonna turn the screen again now shortly. Are you recording on your side, right?
Like I said, since the Zoom started, I have been recording.
Okay, perfect. We're just making sure.
He looks exactly like Charlie.
You know this tech guy,
Which, by the way, JP, I hate Charlie, just for you to know.
He's trying to tell you something, JB. You hate him too?
igual voy a grabar el Zoom, Alejo.
Get somebody to
Sí. Adri. Venga, para que firme usted también aquí un segundo, nada más. Eso se puede por aquí.
JB?
No.
Yeah.
So, as soon as we start, then you can open the. Is there anybody in the waiting room?
Mauricio is in. He's the
I'm
only person
already here.
that came in.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Reference.
Just making sure that.
Good
he's there.
afternoon. Javi,
¿Qué
What's up,
onda?
brother?
I'm Mauricio.
Pero usted sabe, ¿verdad?
El buen Mao.
Dice.
¿qué onda, mi Javi?
¿Cuándo viene? ¿O va a ser por Zoom? ¿Ya?
Creo que al
Ok.
rato vamos a ir, güey. No sé, estoy
Va.
esperando. Rodrigo. Yo estoy en mi oficina en Toluca.
We will start the recording, okay?
Yeah, you just tell us thumbs up and then we can start.
Cuando quieran.
Hey guys, so we're here at the Bancus head office. Very privileged.
Ven, arruinaste la grabación.
Arruinaste la grabación.
¿Quieren que haya una persona en cada escritorio?
No.
¿Está qué, Adri? Grábame aquí.
Sí, pero
Restart. Mi mamá. Va. 2,
Love the bloopers.
3.
Okay, cool. Hey guys, Donovan James here, Aureus, here with Alejandro, CEO of Bancus. Very privileged to have the honor of cutting the ribbon alongside Alejandro. This is the new head office of Bancus. So yeah, let's do this. Let's cut this ribbon. Let's go in. Let's go together. Super proud moment.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you, Donovan.
Congratulations.
We're starting this by having this second office here in Mexico City, which is also going to be where everybody that saw what Aureus is doing in Cancun will come and be able to talk more about everything. And we're going to jump in and do some questions and answers to try to figure out what's the best way to explain this incredible thing that you guys are doing.
Absolutely. So one other important thing that we need to put out is that this is now going to be Aureus's office as well. So we're going to be working out of Bancus's head office. So this would be our satellite office here in Mexico. Also proud to announce that we have our very first high-level meeting this evening at 6 p.m. With some guys. We'll keep you guys updated on that there. But for now, let us go through, and then we're going to start with the formalities on the inside with the presentation.
You go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh wow. It's all the Visa cards.
Yeah, we can connect back.
So those are the other white labels. Where's Aureus? Oh, I don't know, see Aureus.
Oh, you're talking about the cards?
There's the Aureus card.
Okay, can you connect to the team? Okay, guys, so basically what's going to happen now is that we're going to do a full-scale presentation on Aureus so that you guys understand what Aureus is all about. But this is more called the Bancus community. So this entire meeting will be translated into Spanish. That will be played and shared out of the Bancus office here. So we're going to be starting in a few minutes because Aureus is busy on call with me. So starting in a few minutes. But my main man Mauricio is there.
Yes, I'm here. Everything's cool.
Great. Still dreaming about the tacos from last night.
And I was thinking about tacos for breakfast today, so they were very good.
I'm jealous.
Querido Mau.
¿Cómo estás, Alejo?
Bien, man.
Qué bueno,
Okay,
We're going to start with the list.
yeah, so you can go through and pose your questions. The team will be happy to share. JP, we don't see you and we don't see the team. It's just the way the screen is projected. I'm not sure.
You're not seeing me.
I think we need to change the screen.
Yes,
Yeah. There we go. That's it.
So, guys, we went into Cancun through most of the project, which was extremely happy to understand it the way I understand it now. And like I told in Cancun, I'm extremely impressed about what you guys are doing. Not only on the numbers, but I know everything that it needs to do to get to where you guys are. So in order to be able to show more to the people here that are very interested, I'll go through some questions so that you guys can fill all the blanks that we still have. So in order to start, tell me about Aureus in a way that everybody understands it, like the elevator pitch on Aureus.
Okay, let me take this. Good. So Aureus is as far back as 2016. When I was approached to explore opportunities out in Zimbabwe, out in Africa. So naturally, went out and I started having a look. And my idea at the time was to get involved in the gold sector. But then when my feet hit the land, things changed. I then said, I don't want to be a gold dealer. I want to be the owner of a mine. And things changed from there. And that's when I started pursuing owning the mine. So this project dates as far back as 2016. And finally, we're in a position now. The operations is taking off within the next 2 weeks. It's actually imminent. We should have started already. We had a setback with the floods at the beginning of this year. So we very quickly had to change our working plan, but we're taking off. But essentially what Aureus is, it's a holding company that owns a project, which is the mining project, right? There's various other business sectors attached to Aureus that's to be launched, right? So we've got a whole business plan set up, but right now the focus is on the gold mine itself, which is based in Zimbabwe and Kadoma, which is the highest producing gold region of Zimbabwe. So once that takes off, we've then got 47 other mines that will progressively take off. So we're starting off with the 250-hectare project in Kadoma, and then we'll start activating the other 47 mines also in Zimbabwe. And as we go along, then we'll start activating the different divisions within Aureus, which comprises of multiple avenues. One of it being property development and construction. That's actually my core business, and that's my expertise, property development and construction. So we're adding that under the umbrella of Aureus. We're bringing in finance into Africa. We're bringing in insurance into Africa. We're bringing in healthcare, amusement, theme parks. So there's a whole host of businesses that we're going to be launching. We in talks with the School of Mauritius. The guy there, Mr. Sachi Pillay, he's the business development exec for Aureus. So we in a very far discussion with the medical school of Mauritius to bring a medical school into Africa that will be under the umbrella of Aureus, and then we talks with a leading oncology specialist hospital in India, again to bring it into Africa under the Aureus banner. So essentially what happens is when you become a shareholder in Aureus, you just don't benefit from the gold mine and those operations, you benefit from the business holistically. So every sector that takes off and generates profit, that's essentially where the shareholder benefits from. So in a nutshell, that's what Aureus is all about.
Got it. And understanding that and understanding that one of the most important things is actually trajectory. You having 10 years of experience is key.
Correct.
It's not a new company that just come in the detail room. But what would you say is the number one difference between Aureus and other companies? And what are the risks? Every business in the world has risks.
Look, you being a CEO of your company, you would notice, what you see on the surface level goes far beyond what meets the eye. The foundations have been built over many years, so we're quite stable in that respect. But also, we don't give away too much. We obviously hold our cards closer to our chest. We don't give away our trade secrets. But what I can share with you is that we followed due diligence, we followed processes, we've mitigated risk. We're finally in that position now that we can take off and be safely sound to set sail into business.
Now, the world moves very, very fast, very fast. And usually, these opportunities are not for everybody. That's what democratization of real world assets or what you guys are doing to change the world. Why do you think is the key? Or why should people become one of your shareholders? And why did you open it to everyone?
Okay, so when the opportunity came about for the mine itself, actually, I then realized that there's lots of people that's on the land that should be benefiting from what's underneath the land, And my idea was to then connect people and give them an opportunity to be a part owner of the land or the asset under the ground. And then I met with JP, and JP is in networking, and his business is purely built on networking. And I spoke to him about it, and I said, listen, I need to connect the world to this project because it hasn't been done before. Nobody goes and shares this kind of opportunity with ordinary citizens. So my thing was, how many ordinary people do you know that can say that I'm a shareholder in a gold mine, leave alone in a corporate business? But how many people do you know that can claim that I'm a shareholder in a gold mine? Not very many.
Yeah.
So that's where that stemmed from, and I wanted to create the opportunity for ordinary people. And this is one of the reasons why I cut out a lot of corporates that approached us to buy out our shares. And again, our shares are very, very limited. Again, it was designed for the people. I could have easily taken finance from the big guys, from the corporates that were throwing finance at us to continue with the project. But I cut them out because, again, my vision was for the people.
Now, is it limited to me buying under a company name? Can I buy under my personal name? Is there a limit of shares I can buy?
So, as an individual, there is a limit that we've placed for you to purchase. But as a company, you can purchase as a company. And there again, I think we've got a limit. Jacob will share the figure on that there. Jacob, what was it?
But the limit of shares that anybody can purchase. Like I said, the limit of shares that somebody can purchase is 50,000 at a time. We structured that way so that it gives everybody the opportunity to come in. So small guys can come in, they can buy 1 share, 2 shares, 10 shares, 100 shares. But if a big guy wants to come in and buy 1,000 or 10,000 or 50,000 shares, even they can do that. But all the shares gets verified, capital gets checked, everything's 100%. And then once it is verified, then afterwards, then whoever is buying the share, they can purchase more shares afterwards. So technically speaking, there's not really a limit on the amount of shares that you can own, but each phase has got its own limit of the amount of shares that's available in the phase itself.
Do I get voting rights? Do I have voice or vote when I get a share?
Yeah. So what we're going to be doing, this is in the future. This is in 27. When we go over to our open market on our NFT marketplace, we're actually going to every single share. There's 1.4 million shares in total, and these 1.4 million shares, each one of them has actually got its own vote. So if in the future we do decide to make a big corporate decision, then the shareholders will of course have the opportunity then to vote.
Now, understanding that and that each share is actually give you dividends of all the holding corporation. How do the dividends work? How do they pay? How often is paid?
So for the first, we calculating it according to the amount of gold that we're going to be processing. And the reason being is because when average mine is doing anything between 4 tons to 8 tons, okay, on a major mine, that is one mine. But we want to be expanding. We've got our first land that is in Kodoma, which is 250 hectares. There we will have 30 plants up and running by December 2027, and that will generate our 8 tons. Okay. But then we're going to be expanding across Africa into more land. Like, for example, Matari, there is about 1,900 hectares that we're also going to be setting up. We're going to prospecting, see what type of mineral there is. So it's not just gold as well. It's whatever mineral there is available. And that's basically going from copper all the way, even to diamonds and so forth. But the dividends is calculated according to the profits. And the profits at the mining sector where we're starting is basically, so whatever we're going to be mining, we're going to process, we're going to be selling it to Fidelity refineries in Zimbabwe, to the government. And they're buying it from us at 5% below market value. And then we basically, the balance, the profit, that is divided between 1.4 million shares. And this is going to happen for the first, I would say for the first 5 years, it will be 4 times a year. And then from there, by the 7th year, we should be going to buy annually. And then finally, in 10 years, we'll be sitting in annually. And 10-year growth plan is 6,000 hectares. And we'll be processing 100 tons of gold per year. That will give a dividend of roughly about $2,500 per share. And your dividends never ends, ever. It's every single year, company is generating profits, and the profits are divided between the shareholders. So it's not an investment. It's not something where you're buying a package or something and you're going to get 10% or 100% or 1,000%, and then you have to start all over, reinvest and all that. It's none of that. You are buying a share in the company, and by owning a share in the company, number one, you got the voting rights, and number two, you're eligible for dividends. So this is what is exciting about this is you can actually pass this on. So you can buy your shares and you can pass your shares on to your kids, like pass it on to their kids and so forth. And Aureus is the holding company. You know, we got multiple sectors. We got ICT, we got property development, we have got the mining sector, we have got medical sector. We're going to be expanding. I mean, one of my key parts in the business, basically from my company, is our sustainable villages that we're going to be building throughout Africa, and it's possibly even going to go to India and to America, wherever. We want the world to see that what we are going to be building, and we are building this from profits of the mines. But these villages will have its own school. So each village will have a school. It will have a clinic. It will have housing, of course. It will have food. It will have water, and it'll have electricity. All the things that you require. So you can imagine when you're sitting in the bush and you don't have that, it's difficult. And we're not the first company to do this either. There's a platinum mine in Zimbabwe, not in Kadoma. It's a bit further away from Kadoma, about 25 kilometers away from Kadoma. It's called Zimplats. And Zimplats has successfully done this. Myself and Donovan and Watson Ragunya, our COO, we went there and we went to the front of the mine, and then we turned around. There's guns and they're very protective over their mine. And then we went to the actual, you could say, settlement, where all of the staff that is in the mine and their families, they live there. And we went to this area, and they got literally what we are talking about. Different design, the way that we want to structure it, is a bit more eco-friendly, but they got it. They got their own power plant. They got their own cell phone network. They got their own shops. And it's because it's such a small community, extremely fast. They barely paying for the electricity and so forth. So it's there's a bigger picture to Aureus. And whatever Aureus is going to be doing, building the business, the profits is going to be generated is going to be divided between the shareholders. By 2029, we will be moving over to where every single share that has been purchased, they would have received what they paid for the share. So, for an example, right now we're sitting at $45. In literally 5 days, we're moving over to the next phase. Then it will be $50 a share, right? When in July 2027, no later than that, it will be $1,000 a share. $1,000 a share, then the shareholders will be able to sell it. But then we go into that market. Now, if every single share has received what they paid for, then only does the company shares come in for dividends. So that is calculated to be 2029. Yeah, so that's pretty much the dividends, how it works. It's paid out 4 times a year, and then it will go to biannually and then finally annually.
No, and I see that what you said is very important. This is not something that you buy in for a short period of time. You're actually buying a share of a company for the next 10, 20, 30 years.
No.
You never know.
Yes.
So there's no limit on when you stop getting dividends, like most of the companies do, that they will say, hey, you'll make some money until this time, and then you have to give it back. This is actually buying a share that's actually giving you a percentage of the holding company that will exist forever. With also with the things that come with it, which is, hey, you never know how much dividends are going to be. This is not guaranteed. It can be more, it can be less, depending on a lot of things.
Exactly.
It depends on the price of the gold, I imagine. It depends on on scarcity. It depends on what you guys found. So it's actually, people have to understand
Exactly. We could
life investments. This is not buying into something that
this is
and I tell you something, the people, when they really understand this, which is key, they pay more attention because they're used to, in the digital space, just to come in and say, hey, this is how much money we're going to make. This is it. And after a period of time, good luck, you go to another thing. This is actually I have a friend that actually had a share of the railroads in the U.S. I don't know, 100 years ago. I don't know how long. He passes to his father, to his grandson, to his great grandfather, to his great grandson, and it's exactly the same as going to happen with these shares.
Correct.
It's actually a share that you move a long time.
That's right. So it's been designed for that purpose. So basically, you list this in your asset if you're a business, and then obviously you can will it in your individual capacity down to your beneficiary. So your kids or your grandkids or wherever you want to gift it to, you know. So that it's been designed for that purpose. So for the duration of the company or for the lifespan of the company, you would be a shareholder. It's as simple as that.
And when people ask about the dividends in the next 10 years, obviously it's just a projection. And I have to, regarding that projection and regarding why you only pay dividends after you take 45% of it, and why do you pay in USDT? Those three questions are just things that I'm pretty sure people will want to understand.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Okay, so firstly, the 45%, that is for running expenses. You know, we are selling shares in the company itself. Okay, that is to set up the plants. That's to buy the plants. Understand what I'm saying? It's not to run the mine. It is to set up the plants to process the material. But we have got a big plan, and then it's 400 plants that we want to have up on the 6,000 hectares that we want to acquire in the next 10 years. Okay, so there is going to be running expenses. You know, our running expenses currently, just for this year, to give you an indication, is currently sitting at $150,000 a month. Okay, that is for plant equipment that we are hiring. Okay, and diesel. That and of course then our employees. You know, and then as well, we've set up on our 250 hectares. We have set up 1.5 kilometers square kilometers radius. We set up fencing, and this fencing is not a fence that you're going to push over. This is physically cemented into the ground. It's 2.5 meters high, 500 millimeters under the ground. It's got barbed wire underneath the ground. There's a very specific reason for that, and it's got razor wire in the top. The barbed wire is so that there's no people that can dig underneath it. You know, we don't want that. And it's not just to protect the actual mine, but to protect the people as well.
Can we just stick to the question and answer the question?
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
So we talked to a very specific market here. So essentially, to answer your question, we have 45% access the operating expenses for the company. 55% is your gross profit, which is then obviously calculated and then distributed amongst the shareholders. The commitment that I've given to the shareholders is for the next 3 years, the company would not receive a dividend from that, because essentially what had happened was we registered 3 million shares, but we only issued 1.4 million, which is going out to the public. 1.6 million obviously stays with the final shareholder, it stays in the company. But what happens is what I'm committed to is only after 3 years would the shares then be divided amongst the whole capacity of share, the full complement of the share. So which obviously pushes up the dividends for the shareholder. But something else I need to add on to that there is the projections that we have is basically purely on the mining sector. Remember, as we go along within the year, and then every year after that, we're going to be adding in different divisions within the business, which is obviously going to be adding on to the profit budgets. So obviously dividends will go up way more than what we project.
Yes. And I think what you guys are doing, not taking dividends to start with, shows the commitment that you guys have, because a lot of the companies, the minute they start seeing money, you see them buying new cars, new airplanes, dressing as well as you are, but you dress before. So, but I think it's a good commitment. Now, you know, there's always the question on how do you guys know? And this is everybody asks the same question, no matter where in the world. How do you guys know that the gold mine that you have, or this first one, has the resources? I mean, that it's true that there's gold on it.
Okay, so James is going to run through presentation file shortly, And in there, you'll find out geological reports and that sort of thing. So there's been extensive testing, there's been extensive work on the ground over the years. And like I said, I've been at it for the last 10 years. So I would have never put in literally finance from my other companies into this if I was not certain. Generally, when you're exploring, you would set a budget and you would stick to it. And if you find it to be favorable or profitable, you'll continue. So that's what happened. So we set milestones along the way, and every milestone when we hit it and we found it to be profitable, we just moved on to the next. So we've put in already a few $1 million into this project, purely based on the findings and the results that we have. So, Jenny, you can actually start the main presentation.
Yeah, I think just before I do that, Alejandro did ask a question, and you unfortunately did interrupt me. You asked about the USDT. Why did we choose to do USDT as the payment and the dividends? That is an extremely important question. When Donovan connected with me in 2019, okay, he invested in my company in Sun, and we built this friendship, and he told me, you know what? Like he said, I'm a networking, and my business is sitting also with over 100,000 people. And for me, it's always about building a community. And he said that I've got this mindset that there's a lot of money, there's a lot of gold underneath this on this land, and he wants to share it with the community. He wants to share it with everybody. He wants to share it with the world. He doesn't want to just get a couple of big venture capital investors and they share the pot. And I said to him, well, the only way that you could do this is a fintech project. You have to go on the blockchain, and I would suggest you do it by that method. And when we discussed this, USDT didn't exist. That's quite interesting on that concept. But so the reason why we chose USDT is because it's the easiest way, or crypto in that sense, is to be able to send people their dividends worldwide, wherever they are. And this is connected via a smart contract. So wherever that share certificate, NFT share is going to be, you're going to pass it on to your son or whatever, that doesn't matter. The smart contract will automatically pay out the dividend to the of the NFT, of the actual share, wherever. And that is one thing that I said to him, if you're going to have 1,000, 5,000, 100,000, 600,000 shareholders, eventually, there's a possibility that in the next, I'd say 10 years, there's maybe going to be 1 million shareholders, that there's not going to be enough shares available, that most people are just going to have one. But there's a possibility that a lot of people will have shares as well. But that it's easy, wherever the share is, that the person can get their dividend. That is what's the most important. Okay. So that's why we chose USDT. Right. Now,
just to add on to that there, so obviously for obvious reasons, we had to use a method that works. We now have a presence in 91 countries. So we have shareholders, in 91 countries, and we're still growing. And really, we haven't really started this yet, because we've got some big guys out there that's watching us. The minute the operation starts, like I said, it's imminent. It's starting in the next 2 or 3 weeks. These guys are just waiting to come in and grab their shares, and again, those volumes explode. But what I want to say is the easiest way of paying out dividends to our community on a global level is obviously through cryptocurrency. And that's the reason why you are here, because we found you to be our payment solution for this, So
yeah,
that's why our partnership.
And also, I think that people need to understand that once you decide to go into the blockchain, even if it's on payment, it's because you really want transparency.
Oh, absolutely.
Because once you go to the blockchain and use USDT, everything is recorded. You can't change the blockchain. So it's
exactly.
I tell people, whoever's not using USDT today, it might be because he has something to hide, which is bad. So transparency right now is really good. Now, while you do that, JP, I have a question. You know that every day, the number one question an owner of a company or somebody that's investing is asking is, what is the worst thing that can happen? What happens if mining laws changed, or what happened if things don't go the right way? What's the worst thing that can happen to a shareholder in actually in your company?
So look, like I said at the beginning, we mitigated risk right from inception to current. But I don't want to say this publicly, but obviously we've aligned ourselves with the right people. But even without those kind of, I won't call it influences or those kind of relationships, we've taken into account changes of laws and bylaws and that sort of thing. And it's happened to us over the years because, like I said, we've been there for 10 years. So in 10 years, we've seen the laws change at least 5 times. So all it does is it stalls the process a little bit. But the very fact that once operations are in full swing and certain laws change, it doesn't stop the project. All it means is that we're going to adopt new policies and continue. Because whichever country you're operating in, if you operating within the parameters of the law, and you're obviously contributing towards the GDP of the country, and obviously you're doing good for the communities, they're never going to stop you. So from that perspective, we quite steady and quite certain that we're okay.
Yeah, people need to understand it's always going to happen.
Yeah.
Laws changes every year.
Correct.
You just have to be ready. So that 10 years of experience that you guys have obviously puts you in the right spot to understand what's coming.
Correct.
And that'll be great. Okay, JP, apologize. You can show. And I imagine it's in here,
Right.
but part of the questions investors have is what actually is backing up the value of the share? Why is the share valued at the price it is, and why is it going to go to where you guys are saying?
So part of this presentation,
Yeah.
Got it.
But in the current form, our share is actually undervalued because when this value was done, we were valued at about $68,000 per kg, and that's our net asset value at that point.
Got it.
So there's a lot of people are asking as well, what happens if the gold price decreases? It's gonna happen. The gold price is gonna increase, the gold price is gonna decrease. It's a constant. Like the gold price was sitting at $150,000 a couple of days ago. It's sitting at $132,000 now, and it's already starting to stabilize a bit more. But when Donovan started, the gold price is sitting at $45,000 per kg. Okay. When I got involved, which was in 23, gold was sitting at $75,000 a kg. When we started selling shares, gold was sitting at $100,000 per kg. So what effect does it have on the dividends? It definitely does have, because it's calculated according to the gold price. But that once again just on the mining sector. Okay. So and this is relevant because of the value. All right. So this is our geotechnical assessment report. Okay. This is done by GeoGlobal. Sorry, I'm having a lag here. The report was done by Mr. William Moyse, and you will see Mr. William Moyse quite a lot in our documents, because he's part of GeoGlobal, but he's also part of Aureus. So in 2020, this document was created, this assessment was created, and the reason why we contacted William is because he has got 12 years experience in South Africa and in Zimbabwe as a geologist, and he's got a general degree in geology and mathematics in Zimbabwe, from the University of Zimbabwe. And basically, what if he has done his assessment, well, GeoGlobal has done the assessment and said, you know what, there is X amount of gold in the first layers, then there's verifiable proof that there is actually that this test that they've done is showing, and this is what we use to actually get the valuation of the value of the share. you know, and also it's
I
not
think you
just
got
based on this,
frozen.
but also on. Am I frozen?
Can you guys hear us except JP?
I can hear
You're
you.
back. You're back. You're back. You got
Am I
frozen.
back? All right.
But you're
Okay.
back.
All right. Okay. Um. So this document, you can see this is the mining location. So this is a detailed document. It's not just a little piece of paper that's been put together. These are pictures of the Sekosi. Now, this doesn't even look like this anymore since we've been there. Sorry, they're just fiddling with my computer. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay. These are old pits that was digged by artisanal miners. Right, so the artisanal miners, we call them the zamazamas, and they are actually uh, they can become a real nuisance. They can actually become very dangerous as well. So we tend to keep them off the land, and that's one of the reasons why Emma has basically told us, you know what, we need to have this sector completely marked off and secured and everything. What is exciting about our positioning is you'll see these red lines here. This is our actual 250 hectares land, right? This piece here, that's another 50. And this is basically so the entire thing is based on 300. But we need this one still. We're going to be working to get that piece. And you'll see that it's in the bend of the Sekosi, which is also extremely important because the place of gold is actually on these bends. That's where the most of it is found. And now all of these black blocks that's here, that's additional mining claims that's been registered in the mines office. Okay. So that is additional mine sites that we can acquire in the future. So we don't even need to go very far, even down to Matari to expand our project here in Kadoma. We will go down to Matari, but it's not going to end with our 250 hectares. That's basically what I'm telling you. Because, like I said in the beginning, we're going to be building the smart village. And once the smart village is up and running and it's got everything that the people need, to then go and convince them and say, you know what, come and live here. You've got everything you want. You're not going to pay rent. You're not going to pay for water and electricity. Just come and live, look after the place, you know. But we want your sector, you know. They will do it. It's pretty much guaranteed. So we'll be able to acquire the tailings there. And now there's a big difference to what we do and what a lot of the other mine companies don't. So the average mine, they usually create a what we call open cast. We're a non-traditional open cast mining project. So the open cast, it gets wider and wider and deeper. It becomes like a pit to the underground, where we actually only go down to reef level. So we go 18 meters deep, and then we start. We do a test just like this one that you're seeing in front of you, and then if there is no other minerals found, right, then we start rehabilitating that land. Now, usually why I said we are different is because that rehabilitation, every single mine has to do. But once they're done mining, okay? So that is usually 50, 100 years or more. We are planning to rehabilitate 25 hectares at a time within 12 months. So from starting, taking out all of the tailings, processing it, and then, of course, doing the test and then rehabilitating that land. Okay, so that makes a big difference to what other, and we're going to be keep on using this model throughout Aureus. Okay, now, is there a possibility that we will be doing blasting in the future? Yes. but the blasting will be controlled. There will be no animals and no people will be harmed. It will be a way, of course, of the eco village. So it will be very, very protected, but we won't use any harmful chemicals. We're not going to be using cyanide or anything like that. We've actually gone to a point where we have contacted a company in Cape Town that they built the desalination plants in Singapore, and they actually have got a machine that can take out the gold out of the quartz without using any harmful chemicals. So we're looking into those type of technologies as well. We're eco-friendly. That's the main thing to know. Right. Now the important part, I know Donovan wants to get to that, is this section. Yeah. So the resource estimate. This is over the 300 hectares, and the first 80 centimeters, not 80 meters, but 80 centimeters gravel layer, there is a potential of 2.1 tons of gold. 2.1 tons. Right. Now, going back to the gold price. So the gold price is sitting at $132,000.
And that's just, you explain me why are you doing only the 0.8 to do the calculations, but you could have gone down to 2.5 meters also, right?
We can go as far
In the
as
field.
18 meters.
18.
On
Yes.
Namibia.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's so basically when the licenses was done, we needed to go 80 centimeters, right? So that's where the test was done. That's the report that was given, and based on that, we got our mining rights. Okay, so if we take 2,160 kilograms and we times this by $132,000, right? That gives us $285 million worth of gold. That's in the first 80, centimeters gravel level. Okay, so we can go 18 meters deep. You can do the math on that. You're looking at where I say for one plant, right? One wash plant, 100 ton per hour plant. So sorry. So this is actually our 100 ton per hour plant that came from the engineers, and that was loaded onto this trailer, and it's been mounted. This is so that we can move it on the land itself. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, you can see some fencing, right? So this is where we're going to be securing the plants.
No, apparently
and
stone.
Is it frozen? Donovan? Don? What's he saying? I'm on my mobile, so. Don, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you a little.
Sorry. Okay, can you see my screen?
It's about to start.
Okay, so where did you lose me?
Right at the beginning.
No, the last 1 minute.
Yeah, as soon as you started the slide.
Okay, all right. So, okay, cool. So this is our 100 ton per hour plant that's on the actual land, right? Some trenches we've made. So this is literally our last visit. You'll see this gentleman over here. He's actually in the Zoom meeting there as well, as a Paul. There's Sachi standing over there. That's Paul. This is Watson Ragunya. That's our COO. This is just some proof, that yeah, Aureus is real. We do have access. We are busy processing. There's Paul again inside of his machine. Right. Okay. So this plant, to give you indication what it does. The ours looks a bit different. This is what we will be having this specific one. This is a 200 ton per hour wash plant, and this plant will be on the land. We believe we'll have this specific one because it has to be mounted onto on the property. So proper foundation, concrete flooring, all of that. We should have that up and running by next year in 2027. But this plant basically same model. It's just ours is being converted to be transportable. So the material goes into the drum and it goes up a conveyor belt. I'm talking a bit faster for the video. Okay, goes up the conveyor belt. And here's a grizzly feeder. This grizzly feeder basically separates the big rocks from the tailings. The rocks will, of course, fall off, and the tailings will go into this thing that spins, which is called trommel. And these piping that's here, all of this is basically spraying inside of this machine that is washing the material, this alluvium. And then we have got a collection bins and we've got our sluice boxes. So there's 2 boxes on this. The one is for 0.9 grams, and the other one is for your sand. Okay, so we are getting small nuggets as well as the gold dust. That's basically being separated. This sluice box then goes into a further plant that we then separate the the actual sand from the gold. And to give you an indication, okay, of how big this land is. So this was done in March. So there we it's gonna go up now. Right, so that's where the plant is currently. And this is bright and green, and there's a lot of water, everything. This is in March. This is what's because of the floods that happened between January and March, which caused actually a lot of delays, about 4 months of delays for us, because 2 months it was raining, and then afterwards, and you can physically see the water. Now there's no water. It's seeped into the ground. We will be able to start processing it as soon as Emma gives us the go ahead. Yeah. Okay. And this gives you an indication of how big this actual land is. Okay, this is just a drone going straight up, and sorry, let me get it to rotate. So basically, as far as you can see, there is very little houses. The houses are basically from the communities, and yeah, we'll be helping those communities. That's a big thing as well. Like I said, the smart villages, but even for the person the chief that is here, you'll see his houses over there. He's getting housing, he's getting a salary, his kids is being employed, he's going to get a borehole, electricity, very happy. Where usually what happens is that the company will come in, the mining company will come in, they'll give him a couple of bob and tell him, listen, now you need to go find a new home. We don't do that. Right? We look after the community, which is one of the reasons why we got a stronghold in Zimbabwe. Right. So as I stipulated, okay, this specific plant can generate 1 kilogram of gold per day. 1 kilogram. Okay. So that is effectively $132,000 per day of gold. But our machines are running for 10 hours, and we could do a maximum of 22.4. So that's the amount of days that we are allowed to work. And so that gives us 22.4 kilograms of gold. And if we times this by 12, sorry, 22.4. That gives us 268.8 kilograms of gold per year. Okay. That's for one plant, right? We want to have 30 plants up and running by the end of 2027. And that gives us 8 tons of gold. So that 8 tons is then, let's say the gold's value is sitting at $130,000. That's $1 billion worth of gold. $1 billion worth of gold on 8 tons. All right. Then we're going to minus 50% on this. Right. Like I said, 45% is running expenses, 5% is the market value that we lose when we're selling to government. And this leaves a profit of $524 million. That $524 million is then divided between the shares. Like I said, for the first 3 years, the company will not be earning any dividends. So the company shares are not going to be earning. So it will be divided by 1.4 million. And that gives a dividend of 300, but the gold rate is of $132,000. We can't determine what the gold rate is going to be. It can be less or it can be more in the future. Right. Yeah. So I think that definitely we've set up pipe boreholes. We're busy with piping. Security is basically finished. We need to get security teams in now. And then in like Donovan said, 2-3 weeks, then we'll start processing. Done?
Mr. JB, sorry.
You and that
I-
phone
I
of yours,
actually-
my gosh.
I actually have another question. After seeing all of this, which actually it's impressive, and like you said, it shows that this is not a project. It's actually something that's already going on, and that gives people confidence.
Correct.
Why is the share going to be $1,000 in the marketplace? I know it's backed by all of this, but is there specific numbers? Is there specific valuation that you guys did?
I can actually show you that. I can actually show you that. Give me 1 second. So our shares are and par value shares, not no par value shares. So if we let me just do my screen share again. So if you look at the runs, right. So a par value share has a nominal value that is legally assigned, okay, by the company. Right. So the company determines the value of the share. Now we determined the value of the share on $1,000 based on number one, the amount of gold that's in the first 80 centimeters, but also on our 10-year growth projection that we're going to be doing, where we're going to sit at 100 tons of gold per year. And I've already, like I showed you on one plant, okay, you're getting 280 kilograms of gold. On 10 plants, you'll get 2.8. On 30 plants, you're going to get 8 tons of gold. When we're sitting at 400 plants, now we're talking into the billions. Okay, so based on that, that is what we projected. We brought it through to CIPC here in South Africa, and they approved our evaluation. So this was a resolution that was passed from the board of Aureus. And you can see here that it says here the authorized share capital of the company is to be amended to consist of 3 million shares. Now, the reason why it is amended is because when the company was registered, we were given 1 million shares. We increased this to 3 million shares. And then it stipulates here each ordinary share shall have a nominal value of 1,000 United States dollars. The company shall file the necessary documentation with the Companies and Intellectual Property Commission, which is CIPC, including the amended COR 15.14. So we have got, there's our COR, all right? And you can see here it stipulates in the memorandum of incorporation. This is a government document. We cannot replicate this. We cannot create this. This is done by CIPC. And every single time we issue it, then we will get a new date. Okay? That date when it was issued. That's our tracking number, our customer number. You can see that is our company registration. Let me just make it a bit bigger, sorry. Number, and it says here, Aureus Alliance Holdings, which is a private company, has at least 1 director, 1 incorporation, 0 alternate directors, and is authorized no more than 3 million shares of a single class of shares as described in Article 2. So this is our definitive proof that our shares, number 1, is worth $1,000, okay, based on the asset. And then also that we have got how many shares we've got, which is the 3 million. Now, the reason why we started off selling the shares at $5, a lot of people have asked us this question. It's actually very simple. If I come to anybody and I said to you, you know what, we are busy building a gold mine and we want $1,000 per share. All right, but we don't have a gold mine yet. We got the land, we don't have any material on it. We haven't mined anything. We haven't scratched the surface, but we got the property. The chances of anybody buying that $1,000 shares is slight chance, but it's going to be a lot more difficult, right? So we started off in July at a pre-sale of $5, and we have progressively every single month our value increases. Okay, the capital that is used to set up the mining operations. So that's the big difference. So when somebody is buying a share, that money that is coming in from that purchase of that share, that's not going and sitting in a bank that is building up interest or going into a trading account that is being basically traded with illegally, because we're not traders. Okay, no, that capital is taken to either buy plant equipment, hire plant equipment, set up the property, build the business. That is what it's about. And so yeah, I hope that answers your question on that.
Maybe do you have that aerial view that we've done of the drone? I think it was in February when we were on site. Yeah, I think it was in February.
Yeah, I showed it just now. So I showed it just now. Did you guys see that?
I want you to show it again for the reason. Yeah.
Okay.
So as far as your eye can see, that's our land there, right? So here's what now looks like a river. So that used to be a river 127 years or 124 years ago, right? So because of the terrible storms that we had, started in December, which only ended at the end of March, it formed the river. But essentially, that's the whole riverbed that we're going to be mining as well. So that's where the alluvial comes in. But this entire area is huge. A gold placer, which is alluvial ex-riverbeds. So as you can see, where the river is flowing, that's going to be the highest catchment areas of gold. Because essentially what happens is when the gold moves with the river, it gets caught on the beds. So that already indicates where we should start mining initially. It's the higher yield, you know. So
Now, JP, last questions on the shares, because everything else, obviously, you guys, I think the most important people need to understand that this is not a project. This is not an idea.
absolutely.
Not only have you been doing this for 10 years, is that you already moved forward with the funds of the shares that you have already sold. And people will do that. But I won't be able to sell my share until the marketplace is up. And once the marketplace is up, I can only sell it for the price that you guys set, or can I sell it higher or lower?
Okay, so because it's a par value share, and it's we locked it in at $1,000 minimal value. Like, and this is not just this is not something that we just made up. You know, if like, is it the thing that I read just now? So this is actually from Investopedia, and Investopedia stipulates that a no par value share stock lacks a predefined par value. So that's generally what goes on the stock exchange. That is controlled by supply and demand. But we are not a no par value. The stock that you're buying is not no par value. It is par value. So a par value share has got a nominal minimum value. And that minimum value is then this $1,000. That is where we are starting at. Okay. So once we go over to the marketplace, and the marketplace will only open once the 1.4 million shares is sold. The beautiful thing about that is it's not in 5 years, 10 years, or whenever the shares are sold out. Every single month on the 6th, we move over to the next space, regardless how many shares we sold. If we sold 10 shares or 100 shares, 100,000 shares, okay, or a million shares, doesn't matter. Whatever amount of shares we sold, whatever is not sold in that phase is transferred over to the next phase. The price increases, okay? So which means that by July, there will be no more shares sold from Aureus, because that will be the end. The 6th of July, that's when we'll move over to $1,000, and that will be the end. Whatever shares is not sold on that $1,000 value, that will be transferred over to the company shares. It will be added to the 1.6 million. We will not make it public available. Okay. So, but once that happens, then everybody is then allowed to sell their shares at $1,000 or more. Okay. And to give you an indication of where that could be, if you take what one mine is going to be generating, Alcodoma, right, where we're talking about 8 tons. When we go over to Matari, what is it going to do there? You know, when we go over to Ghana, Uganda, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, those are the countries that have in the last 6 months have come to us and said, listen, we got land, we got gold, we don't have the capital to actually mine it. Aureus comes in, we sign a JV agreement, and we start processing there, right? And that is the beautiful thing about the Aureus mining division. So the actual valuation of the share is going to far surpass $1,000, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 plus. Why? Because of the growth of the company. Not now, year, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, as we are growing, as the business is growing. You know, I always say this, and I said it while I was in India for 2 months. I was traveling throughout India, and every presentation I always said, every single person that is looking or either watching a presentation or is busy doing this live, you have this opportunity to get into Aureus while we're sitting in our garage. Okay, if you think about Amazon, when Amazon started, it was in the garage. Apple, garage. Okay, so it's in the beginning of the company still. Right, we're a bit further now than what we were in July. Actually, we've done pretty well so far, and that progress is what we need. So my estimate is 10 years will sit at least at $10,000 per share. The question is, why would you want to sell your share? That is your decision. What I would suggest is buy your shares, and for your own comfortability, look at diluting, say, 5% of your stock. Okay. So that when you get that opportunity and you can sell your shares, there's going to be people that want to buy the shares at $1,000. But if there's nobody selling the shares, then they won't be able to. So that is also what's going to drive the price of the shares up. Okay. And we're opening it up to the public. We don't need to sell the shares at that point. At that point, we have got enough capital for 10 years to set up our 400 plants that will be generating our 100 tons, plus additionally going over to our other divisions and expanding on those divisions. I mean, my ICT company, what I showed Alejandro and Donovan today, what we've been doing, what Sun has been doing in the background, yeah, it's mind blowing. Okay. We're not going to be sharing that tonight stuff. That's top secret. But what I can tell you this is, if give you an indication, if you follow the market, all right, Elon Musk recently bought what's the company he bought? No, he doesn't buy Altman. He bought Tesla. So recently, Elon Musk, he first said, okay, that he will pay $10 billion for Cursor per month. Or he's going to pay $60 billion outright. That was last month when he announced that he bought it. He bought Cursor, which is an AI development software. It's to develop websites, to develop software. And Elon Musk went and bought it from a very clever person. Okay. So our AI division, we're doing quite insane things, which very soon we will give a glimpse of it. Right. We're very secretive of it, but we will be giving a glimpse of it. And that is also going to be generating profits, value for every single shareholder. Right. Over to you, Orlando.
Sorry, JP. Just to summarize the question, to summarize the answer to your question, is the share, it's pegged against the asset of value, the value of the asset. Right? Like I said, it's now undervalued because when we did the original valuation, we were sitting on 60-some thousand.
75. Yeah.
So the price of gold has doubled, so the asset value has gone up. But be that as it may, the share is valued at $5. So when the marketplace opens up, the Aureus marketplace, where you'll be able to sell your share if you want. But to me, I don't understand why someone would want to sell the share, because if that share is bringing you in consistently every year on year, it doesn't make sense to sell it. But let's assume that you buy yourself 10,000 shares or 100,000 shares and you want to offload 10% and recover some capital. At that point, when the value of the shares has gone up to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per share, you're going to score on the outside. Again, you would never be able to sell it below that, and that's why we're creating the Aureus marketplace to ensure that nobody buys today at $50 and next week go and sell it at $100. Yeah, it's impossible. So you wouldn't lose.
It's actually to protect everybody.
Correct. It's to protect our shareholders.
Yes, it's to protect the shareholders and the company. Yes, correct.
Now, if you see this, everything that you guys have shown me, I have two questions. One is, so who is this share for? Who do you think is the perfect fit to actually come in and really buy one of these shares? And once I buy the share, what's the process? How long do I have to wait to get it? Do I have to sign anything? Tell me a little bit about the process itself.
Okay, so to answer your question, I would say right now it's.
There's something blocking your camera.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had what do you call it, Michi, which to set on my legs of all places. Okay, so I would say right now, for the last couple of months, it's been for the community. We want to really connect with as many people as possible, and I'm proud to say that we connected 91 countries. We got 6,000 shareholders. We sold 158,000 shares. So like I said, we've done immensely good so far. I would love to have 600,000 shareholders. That would be absolutely amazing. It's never been done to my knowledge to have that many shareholders in this type of company. And imagine how many people we could change their lives. One of the biggest thing for me is when I was in India, I had this small little adventure at a friend that I've known for many years. But what was sad is what he told me about his father. His father, when he worked for this big company, and it's a mining company, unfortunately. They do a different type of mining, but it's still a mining company. He worked for this company. He got everything that they needed. And his family got everything when they needed. But when they didn't need him anymore, when he was too old, they retrenched him. They retired him. And then he got 10% of what his salary was. How do you survive on that? And this is the big difference. Yeah. You can buy your shares, you can hold your shares, and it will give you that security. So to answer your question, Alejandro, it's for everybody, every single person, whoever has got the ability, whether you can buy one share or you can buy 100 shares, that's up to you. And that's why we open it up so that the minimum is one share, right? So you can buy one share. You can buy 50,000 shares. Yeah. Now, the time processing is maximum 24 hours that it takes before you get your share, right? And that is because company hours, okay? And also it gets verified. So the transaction comes in, we verify the transaction on the blockchain, everything's 100%. And so during office hours, when the shares is bought, it's literally about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you got your share. Okay. That is, you're getting an email, you got your share. Okay, cool. The next part, that is the share certificate. So each and every single shareholder gets an actual share certificate. This is a representation of your actual shares. So I've got an example, yeah, of what this looks like. Oh, come on. Why this thing struggle like this? Okay.
Now,
So
hearing that and seeing this, also answer me something. Why do you think people should come in now and not wait? While you show me this.
Buy low, sell high. That's the history of trade, right? So you have the opportunity to buy now. I'm not saying buy now and sell it at a later stage, but it just makes sense to buy lower because we've got people that started buying at $5 and bought $10, but they bought a few because they still want certain, right? Because at that point we never had that much of the land. But now that they see where we've progressed, they're now kicking themselves. Why don't we buy an extra 1,000 of the shares at $10? But now they can afford to only buy 100 of it at $30 and $40. Guys are regretting it. So again, in 6 months from now, you'll be regretting. I can buy it today at $45 or next week at $50. But in 6 months' time, you're going to be paying $700 for it. Or $400.
And understanding the market and how fast you're growing, since they're limited, also there's a chance that if you wait, you're not going to be able to get.
That's right. Like I said,
no,
the
definitely.
minute we start operations, we've seen the upward trend from when we initially started selling shares because there was nothing on the site, there was nothing on the ground. We had a piece of paper,
correct.
we had the land, we had the business model, we had everything in place, but there was no physical equipment, there was no physical work being done on site. But as we sell shares and as we progress and to the next level and next level and next level and so forth, and we get more equipment on site and we get more staff on site and we have more movement on site, people are seeing this and now they start to buy up more shares. So you can only imagine what's going to happen the minute we start producing.
Yes.
As soon as hard production starts, at that point the shares are just going to sell out. So you have the opportunity while it's here to grab it.
Okay, go ahead, JP, and then I'll ask you the question.
Right. So this is a authorized CIBC certificate. So you'll see there's our Incorporated Republic South Africa registration details, the office. We need to update that we got our second office here in Luciusville and certificate. Then you got your name and your surname and your ID number, address, and then of course your Aureus ID. It says here class of shares, ordinary par value shares at $1,000. There's a reference number, a date, certificate number, and the number of shares. There's also my own signature from Sun and also Donovan James's signature and the CIBC logo. Now, if you want to, you can also purchase for a company, right? So how that would work is you would register, all right, you have to be the director of the company itself. So you'd register your account. Once you've registered your account, you register your company. Once your KYC and everything is approved, then your certificate will become a company certificate. So then you would have your company details here, and it will be a company certificate. And yeah, so that's basically what every single shareholder gets. This process, that depends on the person that buys the share. The reason why I say this is a lot of people are purchasing the shares, they do the KYC, and then they don't complete the KYC properly, a normal KYC procedure. So once the KYC has been approved, KYC is know your customer, so that's all of your details, and it has been approved, then only does your share certificate get issued. Right. Your share certificate is also a representation of the share itself. Okay.
Now, regarding the holding company, which is actually a unique opportunity because usually people sell a percentage of the gold mine or a percentage of one of the components. They usually don't go and sell a share of the whole holding company, which makes this a lot more attractive to people.
Yeah, no, this is way different. Yeah.
Who owns today the holding company and how is it governed?
Donovan, I think you should answer that one.
So currently there's only one director in the company, which is myself. So what happens is the minute the shares are sold out, it then gets converted into because right now we have a shareholders registry. So every share that's sold or every incoming shareholder goes into the registry. And then when we convert the company to a public company, every shareholder is now listed as a director in the company or as a shareholder in the company. So it becomes public in that manner. So it's all legal process that's followed.
Okay, and once that is done, it's just going to be covered like any corporation.
Oh yeah. We follow the governing rules of business. That's obviously set up by the jurisdiction country, which is obviously South Africa.
Now, you know that, and this is going to be the last questions, but regarding transparency and risks and all of that at the end of the day, people, the more they learn, the more educated they get, and they start asking the right questions, which before they didn't, which is great. Because obviously you being an incorporated company, you actually want the people to ask the questions because you have everything that you have shown us today. Absolutely. That we have ready. But what are the actual risks? And is there a place that people can actually? Do you guys have like a legal Google Drive that people can actually check? And what are the risks involved in getting a share of this?
So we've got we on.
Well, here's a beautiful thing.
Sorry, JP. So we're on many platforms, but there is links that we can share. We'll share links to Google Drive and that sort of thing. We document just about every move that we make, every site visit, operations and that sort of thing. So it's always ready for the shareholders to view at any given time.
And how do you communicate with the new shareholders? You know that one thing is having 5, the other one is having 50,000 or 100,000, which is the final goal.
Yeah.
To have millions. How do you think? How do you are planning on communicating to the new shareholders?
So for now we have WhatsApp channels, we have Telegram channels, we're using social media. But eventually Sun is designing a communication platform for the shareholders itself and obviously for management. So that's being decided as a job.
Okay. No, I believe, guys, that you has helped
We got a full
us.
support system.
We can't see anything, it's black.
Your screen's black, JP.
No, Donovan, we already got a full. Am am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. We're just waiting for your page to load.
It must be internet.
I think we lost JP.
Sorry, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I audible? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, what I was saying is one thing that we did, is before anybody, right? When you register, okay, on Aureus, the first thing that you get is our extensive, you can see it, checking legal documentation. Okay. So we have got an
Others to the
extensive
best tech companies in the world.
list of legal documents that has to be approved. Okay. So our terms and conditions, where we stipulating who the company is, what ID is, everything. Okay. All of the risks from day one, you know exactly what is the risks, what am I doing, how is the dividends being paid out, how is it connected. I mean, we get people that ask, can we can somebody under 18, for an example, buy a share? It says here, be at least 18 years old, which means a lot of people don't read. Here is our details. Okay, there's email address, there is my personal cell phone number, there's Donovan's personal cell phone number. Okay. Same story. Has to be gone through, has to be accepted. Legal disclaimer has to be read through, has to be accepted. The share purchase agreement has to be read through, has to be accepted. Okay. This is before you have purchased a share. This is literally right after you have registered. That's the first thing that you are seeing. Then you've got the CIPC certificate. All right. So nobody has to come to us and say, oh, but Aureus is not showing the company legally in South Africa. No. It's there. The CIPC certificate, our SARS tax certificate, and our FNB bank proof. Okay. We cannot have sorry, my internet. Am I disconnected or can you still see?
No, you're still connected. Everything can be seen. It's perfect.
Okay.
But that's actually
All right.
what you're just showing exactly what people want to
Yeah.
see. And it's very well.
So there's our CIPC, right? So I already showed this one document where the shares was changed. Okay. So yeah, it stipulates there's 1 million shares. The other document we will be implementing, hopefully by Monday we'll have it on the site. Our focus was to get our offices and everything getting ready here. Here's our SARS tax certificate, and here's our bank proof of account. Okay, so any account that is a business account, all right, you have to be registered with CIPC to be able to do that. Right, so our legal documentation is here. Nobody has to say, oh, but this company hasn't provided any legal documentation. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
everything is okay. Then once you've done that, it will automatically take you to here. We'll take you to the settings where you'll be able then to fill in your details. That will create your profile. Then once that is done, then it will take you to the purchase. Only then it will take you to the purchase. right? And that's where you will be choosing how many shares you want to purchase and so forth. So there's a whole process, but the main process is, okay, that every single person, not shareholder, every single person, before they become a shareholder, before they even can think of becoming a shareholder, they are presented all of the company's details, all of the possible risks, everything. And in that risk, it physically stipulates rain. Okay, it's weather. Weather is a big factor when it comes to mining. Okay, it is stipulated there. So when we unfortunately hit this big floods that came in, we couldn't. We had to delay. And trust me, I got video proof that where we tried. We really, really tried to work through the mud and through the rain and everything, and it was a nightmare. The amount of times our machines got stuck. We mobilized our machines during the after the rain season, but when the roads were still very bad. So yeah,
Well,
does that?
that's and I do believe you guys have everything more than needed. A lot of the companies in the world have nothing compared to what you guys have done. And like I said, the most important thing is you guys are not a project, you're already a company running. So thanks a lot for the information. Really, really helpful. And I think it'll be a good video to show everybody. I think it's the main it's everything that everybody needed to be done and understood. So thanks a lot because it's a lot more clear about it.
Great pleasure. Great pleasure. Right. So I think thank you for allowing me to present this. Before I go, I just want to quickly introduce our team here. So we got our lead software developer, who is Ruban Swanepoel. Then we've got our multimedia designer that creates all our awesome video, who's Rabashan Suprio. We've got Paul Fulyoun. You'll see his face whenever you come to our Zooms. The Zoom meetings is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, correct, Paul? Right. And then we got Robert. Robert is our leading support agent, and also helps with the Zoom meetings. And then we have got Wimpy van Lochenbab. This is our AI architect. This man, and he is Sun's CTO as well. So I'm the CTO of Aureus. He is the CTO of my company, Sun. Then we've got Chantal Niebeling, who is our personal assistant here, helps us with all of our daily duties that we've got in the office. And she's also a brilliant graphic designer. So welcome, Chantal. She is one of the new members. And then we've got Sachi Pillay, our old man. And he comes with years and years of experience. And then, of course, there in the back, we got Mr. Neil Andrews, that's sitting there in the office in Mexico, who is our CIO. He keeps me on my toes, or he tries to in any case. And then, of course, we got Donovan
I'll
James.
see you. I'll see you probably next month. But just to be clear,
Awesome.
I don't like people that dress up like you guys, very, very formal like that, like
No,
Sachi
look,
or Rashid. That's too much for me. I like the other style is better.
well, you can bring your swim shorts. We got a nice pool here as well. So
I'll get you some hoodies for everybody.
Okay, so just to announce, the Bancus team will be visiting our offices in South Africa. And also we're going to make the announcement of Bancus Aureus' offices, is where Bancus will be working out of as well for Africa, not just South Africa. So we'll be handling a lot of the work from our offices.
Thanks a lot, guys.
awesome.
And I actually have this huge conversation this morning regarding the way I dress from Donovan. So he sent me 3 messages. I need you in a suit. And I said, dude, I don't even have a suit. I'll try, but I don't have it. So, yeah.
Look, I'm extremely comfortable.
And a watch, one of those pending watches that German that people from England has, and with the chain. See, that's the hoodie. This Ryan is the only guy that dressed. Everybody else is overdressed. But no, thank you guys. I'll definitely a lot of things to do. A lot of things to do. A lot of traction that you guys are going to have. You're doing an amazing job in a world that is looking for something real. Which by the first time, it's something real that people can really value. Let's make. See, this is the this is because I gotta tell you something. I'm not gonna say anything, but he has some stories. He wasn't dressing like this the last 5 days. I can tell.
Oh, okay.
I won't say anything.
Lucas is formerly in Cancun. I will say Lucas is formerly in Cancun.
But no, guys, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it, and definitely see you soon in person. So thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you,
God
guys.
bless everybody. Bye bye.
That's-